Hello, Salon Sleuth fans. My name is Melissa, and my co host is Leslie. We decided we wanted to share our salon stories. We both have an interest in crime stories and a fascination with the psychic world. So settle in each week as we share another story with you. Who knows, you might even learn something. So, we are going to talk about spontaneous combustion today. But first,
Yes.
I wanted to ask you. So, we're both on social media and, hear things on the radio and everything. But have you just felt like there's been a surge of like, oh, it's National Donut Day, it's National Flip Flop Day? Like, have you seen this like huge rise in this?
I haven't, but sometimes you get those posts when you probably have talked about it and you start getting those kind of things on your phone.
Maybe.
Does that
I
ever
don't know.
happen to you?
I just feel like I don't even know these things go on, and I'll get posts from a friend. Oh, since it's National Hot Dog Day, we had hot dogs
Yeah.
for dinner. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, first of all, who made up National Hot Dog Day? Why do we have
I don't
National Hot
know.
Dog Day?
Some man.
Like, I understand the big things, right?
Yeah. Right.
MLK, President's Day, Memorial Day, like all that stuff. But I like, who is making all these up and where do you find these? So I was talking to my kids and I'm like, okay, what's the deal? And they're like, oh, I don't know. So I looked them up. Well, first
Yeah.
of all, I was going to go and I was just going to start through January and go all the way to December and like tell you like the craziest ones.
Yeah.
But there are literally like sometimes 5 or 6 per day.
I'm going to find you a calendar that has all of those on it and we're going to have it. So we can on our shows we'll be like, so today is
This is what I
National
thought.
Sprinkles Day.
That is what I thought, because the deal is you can, there's months, there's national months, and then there's weeks, and then there's days. So that was my thought. Like every day we could open the show with, hey, today is,
That's
National
hilarious.
Blank Month and blank week and blank day. But so I started going through the calendar and I was just like, okay, there's way too many for me to even tell you about. So we'll have to like break it down later and do something fun with it. But okay, so here's the thing. Some of them are just darn right hilarious. And some of them are okay, like, why do we have that? Okay, January 1st.
Yes.
What do you think when you think of that day?
It's New Year's Day.
It's New Year's Day. And what did people do the night before?
They partied, so it's National Hangover Day.
It is National Hangover Day. Right on. But guess what? It's also National Bloody Mary Day.
Well, that makes sense. You need to do that.
Have a little hair of the dog that bit you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the second, National Buffet Day. Cream Puff Day. And this one does not surprise me. Personal Trainer Awareness Day.
That makes sense.
Because we all need to get back.
You can't do it on the first, but you could do it on the second.
Yeah, exactly. And then also Science Fiction Day. I'm like, what?
Oh.
Okay, all right. The third,
that's a lot.
This is my favorite, because I am one that has struggled with this whole drinking straws, environmentally conscious drinking straw thing.
Yeah.
January 3rd, Drinking Straw Day.
Do you not use straws anymore?
No, I use reusable straws, but I do love straws. So I still have straws, but I do not have throwaway straws.
Okay.
And I really
don't like paper straws.
I hate them. And when I go to a store, like when I get or when I go somewhere and I want like a soda or something like that, I want a straw. And I am super bummed when they bring me a paper straw.
Like, we're not throwing them in the ocean. We're throwing them in the garbage that goes to a landfill. Is it just because they don't break down?
Yeah.
Is that the problem?
Down and end up in the ocean oftentimes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Because if like all of us use straws, that's one thing that we could figure out. But
and actually,
I don't carry a metal straw with me.
I just saw something somewhere that they actually are, figuring out other products. Like there was corn for a while. They were putting like corn, and they're doing some things. I think they're going to figure that out. But for me, it's
maybe just like a piece of licorice.
Oh yeah, well,
I'll just do that.
I don't.
Then we can eat it afterwards.
That's going to change the flavor. So then I just went through and I was like, okay, this is way too many to just go day by day. But here's some interesting ones. January 7th is National Bobblehead Day. The
Mm.
8th.
That's what we need. We need
Oh,
bobbleheads.
we do need bobbleheads of ourselves. Oh, I love that
Let's make some
idea.
clay figurines. I'm gonna make some.
Okay. The
Okay.
8th is bubble bath day.
I love bubble
I
baths.
know. I want a little of that. Okay, the 11th, I find this funny. National Vision Board Day.
Oh. Like once a year? I mean, I pretty much do that. Like when I sit down to figure out these shows, I do lots of vision boards. Maybe
Well,
not to that extent, but
I think you need to do a vision board for your life maybe every year. I don't know.
that should be like on December 30th.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's already the year's already started. They're way
But
behind.
who made that up?
I don't somebody who's a vision board nerd. I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure the drinking straw manufacturers made up Drinking Straw Day,
Yeah.
but the bobblehead people probably made up Bobblehead Day. So weird. Okay, the 12th,
Yeah.
Kiss a Ginger Day.
Oh, that's like kissing a unicorn. I do love redheads because they're not very often do you see like a real true redhead.
But then my thought was,
And
okay, is that politically correct?
well, okay, in this day and age, everyone will get mad about something.
Yeah,
But I think being a redhead is kind of a cool thing because they're rare.
I do
I love
too.
it.
I do
But I
too,
don't
but
want to go up and kiss some
do
stranger.
they want to be called a ginger? I don't know. Okay, oh, listen to this one. January 16th, National Without a Scalpel Day.
What
What?
the heck does that mean?
What? Like, oh, you're going to have surgery on January 16th on your knee. You're not having it with a scalpel.
Ew. That's a really weird one.
Okay, how about this one? January 22nd, Library Shelfie Day.
What does that mean?
Thank you.
Shelfie day?
Yes.
Like are they cleaning shelves?
I don't know. Organizing shelves? I don't know. It sounds almost like selfie, but it's
Yeah.
Library Shelfie Day.
Huh. Weird.
I know. Okay, here's another one. January 24th. See, I'm only in January still. And I
Yeah.
skipped a whole bunch, by the way. January 24th, Beer Can Appreciation Day.
Ugh.
Not aluminum can, not soda can, not beer day. It's like beer can day.
Ugh.
Yeah,
That's weird.
yeah. And then these, like this kind of makes sense to me. This I wrote some of these down that actually kind of made sense. Like the whole month of July, because we're moving into July, so I thought this would be interesting. Is National Anti-Boredom Month. But I think that's because like that makes sense. Okay, we're all busy. It's summertime. We're doing a lot of stuff. Like, kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
The third is Eat Your Beans Day, which
Mm.
I don't know about you, but growing up, we always had pork and beans at every family barbecue.
Yeah.
Did you guys have
We
pork
did
and
have
beans?
them. No, but we would go camping with a family that would have those, and I was like, "What are these?" And they would put them on top of the quesadillas, and I just thought that they were so yummy, and I just think it was because we just didn't have it very often,
Well, and they were
and I
full of
thought it was
sugar.
so cool.
They were
Yeah,
so
that's
full
probably
of
why I
sugar,
love
and they're
it.
so good, though. I think I told you about this one off the air, but July 4th is National Barbecue Spare Ribs Day. So it's
That's
not barbecue day. It's not spare rib
it's
day.
spare ribs day.
It's barbecued spare ribs day. I thought that
Huh.
was super interesting.
I better go get mine then because that's next Saturday.
Yeah.
They might be sold out.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Gotta get
Yes.
them now.
Yeah. Well, get your bikini out because July 5th is National Bikini Day.
Okay, so I haven't had my surgery yet. I'm not getting anywhere close to that. I mean, you're lucky if I get in a wetsuit at this point.
Ah, you're gorgeous. You're beautiful.
Ugh.
This one was one of my like what? July 7th, National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day.
Oh, the 7th?
Yeah,
I kinda like that
but it's
one.
not Father-Daughter Day. It's Take a Walk. On the 9th, Cow Appreciation Day.
Oh, I love cows. I love ice cream. I like milk. I like is it cheese? Does that come from cows kinda?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
All that stuff's
well,
good.
you better be ready for Bikini Day because on the 14th, it's Nude Day.
Ew, God, that's the last thing. I'm not even talking about that one.
Okay, this one made me crack up too. July 23rd, Gorgeous Grandma Day.
Aw.
Who comes up with these? Okay, the
Ugh,
25th, the 25th, National Threading a Needle Day.
what the hell?
What?
You just sit around and thread a bunch of needles, and then you have them ready for the whole year?
Yes. Like, what?
I think I've got one, and, like, you better make sure you don't lose it.
Exactly. So that I got into that and I was like, "Whoa, there is somebody with way too much time on their hands.
Ugh,
I can't keep up. That is just beyond
yeah.
me."
What is, like, the most, like, interesting one? Did you do any research of how it came to be or anything?
And I didn't. I got
Okay.
so overwhelmed and down the rabbit hole because then I went into what we're gonna do, like, some other day and talk about
Yeah,
is, urban myths that are actually true.
I love that one. That'll be really good.
And have you, like, looked at I keep coming across mentalfloss.com?
No, I'm gonna write that down, though, because 'cause you've mentioned that before, and I've
Yeah.
never looked, and it sparked my interest last time you said it, but I'm writing it down right now.
Yeah, so that's where I got a lot of the really cool myths that are actually true, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we gotta save this for a whole
Yeah, that's a good
podcast."
one.
Yeah, yeah. So
Well, along with your crazy, holidays, I went and found some funny, laws from
oh,
different states that I thought were interesting.
oh, perfect.
So I'm going to go through, and I'm not going to go to every state, but I'll tell you some ones that I thought were funny. So, and this is from policeone.com.
Okay.
Alabama has bear wrestling matches are prohibited. In Arizona, it is illegal to promote the use or own more than 6 dildos. Melissa, you are arrested.
No.
In Arkansas, it is prohibited, strictly prohibited, to pronounce Arkansas incorrectly. Okay.
Wait, do
In
people
Cali
pronounce it incorrectly?
well, in school,
Arkansas.
Arkansas, so we're both now in trouble. Okay, so a lot of these laws could have been really old and they just never changed
Correct.
because Michelle Werther, one of our really good supporters,
Patrons.
she gave me, I think, a book at one time that had these things on it. And so I think they're just really old and they just never corrected them. Or
Yeah.
maybe they are gone by now. But California, animals are banned from mating publicly within 1,500 feet of a tavern, a school, or a place of worship. So keep your dogs tied up and leave them in your yard. In Connecticut, it is illegal for a barber to hum a tune while cutting your hair.
What?
Um, let's see. In
Why?
Delaware, alcohol, I don't know. Probably somebody got mad. They didn't like something. And then they're like, I'm the mayor of this town. I'm going to create a law. Um,
Wow.
in Delaware, alcohol may not be served in nightclubs if dancing is occurring on the premises at the same time.
That's still on the
Um,
books?
I don't know.
That's so weird.
Okay, in Florida, having sexual relations with a porcupine is illegal. Melissa,
Stop it.
keep your dirty hands off that porcupine.
Stop it. Who would
Yes.
even do that?
Okay, well, in Georgia, okay, which one was National Ice Cream Day?
Yeah, oh gosh.
Okay, so in Georgia, you may not carry that ice cream on National Ice Cream Day or any day in your back pocket if it's Sunday.
In your back pocket?
Okay, and if you're in Hawaii, it is not allowed to place coins in your ears or anybody else's ears.
Why?
I don't know. In Idaho, you cannot sweep the dirt from inside your house to outside.
Okay, that makes no sense.
Okay, here's this. In Illinois, it is illegal for anybody to drink under 21 unless you're enrolled in culinary program. Because you might need to taste like the wine or the different sherries that you're going to cook with, maybe.
Right, right.
Um, in Indiana, nobody can catch a fish with their bare hands. Which is funny because I have this book that I love. It's 101 ways to live wild, I think is what it's called. And one of them is to catch a fish with your bare hands.
Well, don't do it in what, Illinois, you said?
Yes.
Oh my god.
In Iowa, ministers must obtain a permit to carry their liquor across state lines.
But only
Only ministers
ministers.
is what it's. Yeah. In Kansas, hitting a vending machine that stole your money is illegal.
Wait, what was that?
So hitting a vending machine that stole your money is illegal.
Oh.
Okay, this is a
Would
really
rocking it and sticking your arm up in there too be
maybe
bad?
because you're not hitting it, I don't know. Okay, this is a really funny one. In Kentucky, one may not dye a duckling blue and offer it for sale unless more than 6 are for sale at one time.
Wait, you confused me at many levels. Dye?
Okay. Like dye it blue, like dyeing your hair a
Yeah,
different color.
you dye a
So you may
duckling?
not dye a duckling blue and offer it for sale unless you have more than 6 for sale at the same time.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. First of all, why are we dyeing ducklings? Second of all, why 6? And why would that be okay to dye 6? What?
I think you need to contact the state of Kentucky for those answers because I don't have that for
I
you.
do too. I think maybe
Oh,
we should.
this is one that we did when we were kids, and maybe you did this, but or maybe you're not as mean as we were, but it is a $500 fine to instruct a pizza delivery man to deliver pizza to your friend's house without them knowing.
Oh, yeah, that happened. I don't know that I specifically did it myself, but I know it happened all the time because you
Yeah,
used to have
I
to pay
think
at
it
the
might have
door.
been around people who did it. Yeah,
Yeah,
because they wouldn't take your money, like, yeah, because
yeah.
we didn't have debit cards and stuff.
No, so they had to
Uh,
pay when they got there, so they'd arrive with all these pizzas, and somebody had to pay
yeah.
for them. Oh my gosh.
In Maine, you cannot put advertisements in cemeteries.
Okay. First of
Yeah.
all, do people put advertisements in cemeteries?
They're not allowed to, especially in Maine,
Yeah.
but, I mean, I don't know, because you're going there for other reasons, you're not going there
Yeah.
to be like, "Oh, I wonder where they get their lawn cut. Oh, that guy, the
Oh,
landscaper
that kind of
keeps"
I was thinking like,
No, I don't know
"Get your
anything really.
Wi-Fi here."
Wi-Fi code is um, let's see, in Maryland, a person may not swear while on the highway.
What?
In Minnesota, airplanes may not land in city parks. Let's
Oh,
see. Okay, this is bad. In Montana, one may not pretend to abuse an animal in the presence of a minor. It says pretend.
pretend.
So if you were pretending to hit your dog, you cannot do it if there's a child in view.
Oh my gosh. That's a weird law. That's
Okay, this is really weird, and I would want to research this one to find out for sure. But in Nebraska, a person with an STD may not marry.
whoa.
Yeah,
That's like
yikes.
30% of the population, isn't it?
It might be a lot higher than that. I have no idea.
Wow.
I mean, it depends on the severity of that STD
Yeah.
because there's some people that have temporary ones, and then there's
Yeah.
people that have like lifelong ones.
Right. I was just gonna say that. I mean,
Okay.
I think thankfully do not, but I know that people live with that.
Um, so in Nevada, this is a really weird one, and I want to ask you about this one. Sex toys are not, or sorry, sex toys are outlawed in Nevada. So
What?
isn't it Nevada where they had that brothel? That's it. Um, isn't there one there called like a famous one
Yeah.
called?
It's where Lamar, what was the Lamar guy that was married to Khloe Kardashian? He was all drugged up
Isn't
over
it like
there.
an animal or something? What is it like
I don't.
I can't even think of it. Something ranch, anyway.
Yes, it's a ranch. Yeah, exactly. But that's Las Vegas is in Nevada. That doesn't make any sense because
So they just don't use sex toys, they just use the real things, I guess.
no, they sell tons of sex toys there.
Maybe that's a really old one, or maybe just somebody made that up, I don't know.
Or it's still on the books and they just haven't
Yeah,
deleted it because
they
they're
just
gonna
don't
use it on somebody
control it.
sometime.
Yeah. Um, in New Hampshire, it is illegal to collect and carry away seaweed at the beach, but only at night.
Wait, why only at night?
Okay, this is actually one that I really think I'm kind of okay with. In New Jersey, all motorists must honk before passing another car, a bicyclist, a skater, or even a skateboarder.
Oh, I like that.
Kind of, just like a little tap, like, "Hey, I'm coming around you."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't
I'm
mind that. Well,
not always honking.
I do that in, when we're biking all the time. I'll just say passing on the left, which is just courteous because sometimes
Yeah,
people can't hear you behind them coming up, and it's just good to know. Even if they're on the right side, I'll say it, just so they don't swerve over or something. But that's kind of
right.
for everybody's safety. So, yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing.
I won't go too much more, but this is an interesting one, which I'm pretty sure has changed at this point because in New York, it is illegal to congregate in public with 2 or more people while wearing masks or any face coverings which disguise your identity.
Yes. I think that,
Maybe that explains their numbers, huh?
well, I was going to say, you know what? It's probably still in the books, but it's not being enforced right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
In North Carolina, a marriage is declared void if either of the two persons are physically impotent.
Huh. It's
Hmm.
null and void.
Anyway,
Huh.
in Ohio, if you lose your exotic animal, you have 1 hour to call the authorities.
My
Okay,
gosh.
this is my last one. I'm gonna end with this one. In Rhode Island, no person may bite off another person's limbs. I'm like, what the only person I know is Mike Tyson who built that ear.
Yes.
Maybe it happens more often in Rhode Island. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's so weird. Why?
Ugh,
And, you know, taxpayers' money, like, it took tax like, they had to, like, spend time putting that together and writing that up and putting it in the books and
yeah.
wow, those are
Maybe it was easier back then,
maybe.
they're like, "Oh, we need 2 signatures of, like, the mayor and the city manager," and then they put it in, who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Oh my gosh, some weird
Yeah,
things.
because, like, in Washington, it says X-rays may not be used to fit shoes. At one point, they probably did that and then realized X-rays are bad for you, and then they made a law for it.
What? Oh my gosh.
I wanna get
Wow.
into your spontaneous combustion
Okay,
stuff.
because speaking of weird and strange and body limbs, because you said, you know, you can't take body limbs off.
Yeah.
This is so weird, and I know we had so many comments. I had so many comments personally, like via text and Facebook were like, Melissa, you've never heard of spontaneous human combustion. And I'm like, no, I never have. Like, I don't know why. Even my husband was like, don't you remember watching That's Incredible and that being on there? I'm like, no. And I watch that all the time.
I
No.
loved that show. I forgot all about that show.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so
Dang. Okay.
Wikipedia says spontaneous human combustion, the combustion of a living or recently deceased, which will come into play, human body without an apparent external source of ignition.
Okay.
So, in my research, and you know, I saw those pictures that you had shown me or you told me to Google or whatever, literally of people's like mid bodies
Yeah.
like, from their kneecaps up, sometimes their arms are left, sometimes their skulls are left, but just
It is
being
the weirdest thing.
yeah,
It's just their
burned.
feet in their shoes and up to their knees, and
Yes,
then their hands are just sitting on the chair.
yes. Okay, so digging into this, here's the things that scientific studies have kind of come to an hypothesis on, which
Okay.
is that typically there is a large amount of alcohol consumption by these people. And there is some proximity to potential sources of ignition. And this will sort of come into play as you hear some of these examples, but usually it's not like someone threw a match on them or something like that, but there's the potential that, oh, there was a fireplace nearby, or oh, they were a big smoker or a big, pipe smoker or something like that. So there's the potential of a source of ignition, but when these things typically happened, they saw no source of ignition. So
Yes.
it's only in retrospect where people go back and look at these cases and they go, okay, well, she was 10 feet away from a fireplace. Potentially something could have come out of that fireplace and ignited her or whatever.
And for the whole middle to be gone,
Yes.
it says that I researched this a little bit, you need between 1,200 and 1,800 degrees for it to affect the bones. And even when people are cremated, they actually take the bones because sometimes they don't disintegrate all the time. They have to grind them up and put
Oh.
them in this other machine. So it has to be so hot that it is destroying everything in the body, but it's not necessarily the fire doesn't extend throughout the whole house.
So
It's only contained to that area.
it's totally contained to that area, and that was the weird part, is basically what they're saying is that these fires get so incredibly hot that you're right, like 1,800 degrees, that they're not even like a normal fire, which I thought all fire was just fire and burned hot or not, but I think it speaks to the amount of what they're calling the wick effect, because it's also can be called the wick effect. I'll go into that, but it depends on how much fuel is in the fire. So
For
And
example.
they also say, though, the body is 80% water,
But when
right?
you have alcohol in it
Okay.
and you're a chronic
That's what they're
alcohol.
saying. There's gotta be something within the
Yes.
body that has to be mixing. So I'll let you go,
So
sorry.
basically they say that the body becomes the wick, or like the actually the clothes become the wick, and then the body fat
Mhm.
melts. And so it's not actually burning as much as it's melting. And so it's not, which I don't really get. I mean, I have to see this, but typically these fires, it's not like they light the drapery or light the chair. They melt the chair, but they literally do not end up burning the whole house down, which is kind of weird to me.
That's what I'm curious. Like, how does that happen? Because how does it be contained in that?
Well, so they have some thoughts about that.
Okay.
What I would first say to you is, kind of like I alluded to, the scientific community has kind of come to a consensus that there typically was some external source of ignition. So it was not spontaneous necessarily, like it was believed to be, years and years and years ago. As they kind of research, there's typically something that could have potentially caught this on fire, but again, not really um, proven either, because I guess you do not see a source of where it started. So, like in fires, they can figure out arson because they see these hot spots and they can figure out where it traveled and all this stuff. I guess the way this burns so hot and just melts these bodies, it doesn't really show a source because there's no body left to go, oh,
Right.
it hit his chest on his shirt and it burned his shirt up. It's like just the whole thing melts. So I think your body, especially if you're drinking a lot of alcohol, your body becomes just saturated with alcohol. And so you become a igniter, right? Which is
Yeah.
totally weird. But
So in the cases that you researched, did it say that they were heavy drinkers?
yes,
Okay.
yes. And typically they're women. Most
Mm.
often it's women,
Ew,
not men, but there
scary.
are examples of men. But this idea was first proposed in 1947, written up in a British medical journey. Oh, sorry, British Medical Journal in 1938. So in
Okay.
1938, it was written up in the British Medical Journal, but it was proposed about a 1749 case.
Okay.
Okay. So common characteristics that these recorded cases have in common is the victims are chronic alcoholics. They are usually elderly females, and that the body has not burned spontaneously, but something lit it on fire or it came into contact with something. And the hands and the feet usually fall off. And I'll talk about that a little bit more, but well, actually I'll talk about it right now. Usually, the reason the hands and the feet fall off and do not burn is because it fire travels up, not down. So if you get caught on fire on your mid body, right, or even on your mid thigh, the flame is going to go up. And typically, these people are sometimes either lying down or they're sitting in a chair. So it's not going to go down your legs. And also,
So
your
that
legs.
explains why it's not traveling, like, it's only doing that area.
Exactly. But also, those are the biggest areas of fat. So
Okay.
think of a candle.
Yeah.
The flame is not going to follow something where the wick isn't going, right?
Right. Exactly.
So it's not going down into the legs where they have a lot of muscle and a lot of bone. It's going to keep and stay in that really hot spot of the body where there's all this fat and alcohol kind of just pooling, right?
Yes.
But the weirdest part, the fire causes very little damage, like I said. It, doesn't really seem to burn the things that it's even in contact with. So the chair, yeah, it's maybe charred, but it's really not burnt the chair up into pieces.
What about the ceiling?
Okay, so here's the other thing.
Yeah.
The combustion of the body leaves a residue of a greasy kind of, ash, and it has a very offensive odor.
Well, like when you make hamburgers, like your grease thing, like the fan above your oven may get greasy.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
Yes.
maybe the fat for your body is
Yeah.
going up in the okay.
Yeah, and the ceiling, as you asked, would have probably char on it, like darkened, but it's not going to burn, which typically, if you get a house burn, I mean, you catch your drapes on fire or something, the whole house goes up eventually. But for some reason, it just kind of goes out on its own and just kind of melts things. But these two guys named Nickel and Fisher investigated cases from the 18th, 19th, and the 20th century. And they did show that it's plausible that they all burned near sources. So candles, lamps, fireplaces, pipe smoker, whatever. Um, and that the body of the victim was not read my notes here. Where the body of the victim was not extensive, the primary source of combustion fuel could plausibly have been the victim's clothing, blanket, or comforter. And where the destruction was extensive, additional fuel sources were involved, such as chair stuffing, floor covering, materials that retain melted body fat. So, like, if as your body sort of melted and it got into the shag rug or something like that, or it got on the drapery, then that could maybe go up in flames more. But that was the only time that the destruction was super extensive. Other times the body sort of melted in place and was gone. And when you look at the
So
pictures, the
weird.
bodies are gone, you guys. It's not like
Yeah.
you see those shows where you have a charred body and it's still like a skeleton that's just charred black. Like the body's gone.
There are just literally legs and shoes in
Yes.
front of a chair.
Yes.
That's it. That's and like a big burn mark.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
Yeah. So this is also known, or why they call it the wick effect or the candle
Yes.
effect. So when I started, typing in spontaneous combustion, I also got the wick effect or the candle effect. So they basically are just saying like the mid core of the body becomes like a candle and it just melts away, which I don't know. Somebody in fire suppression is going to have to explain to me why that's such a hot flame compared to something else, and why if you cremate a body, it's not taking away the bone, but these other people, maybe because they're elderly, that was tested also, having weaker bones. And so there's got more air in the bones. I don't know. But this was interesting. Brian Dunning, who is a paranormal researcher, says that these cases were natural death in isolation, followed by slow combustion from a nearby ignition. So I'm going to tell you a few cases. And what he believes is these people were probably dying anyways. So whether they were had a heart attack or were dying finally of alcohol consumption or some other reason, natural causes maybe, then they were doing something, i.e., smoking, pipe smoking, whatever, and they lit on fire, is what he says.
Mm.
Okay, this was kind of freaked me out because the keto diet.
Yeah.
So Brian J. Ford, this is all on Wikipedia still. Brian J. Ford has suggested that ketosis is also a possible cause with alcoholism or a low carb dieting, producing acetone in your body, which is highly flammable and could lead to spontaneous combustion.
So we naturally produce acetone. And I knew that already because of that forensic scientist that I used to cut his hair.
Oh, no.
And he's like, I bet you anything yours is more because you're around acetone all the time. So not only am I absorbing it, I'm also producing it. He
Oh,
goes, so like if I were to have like a toxicology test at dying or whatever, my levels would be higher than maybe yours.
oh,
But
interesting.
you would have it naturally in your body, but people like that maybe have a lot more
Yes.
in their body.
Okay, which kind of freaks me out for all these people on the keto diet
Yeah.
because then they've got higher levels of acetone. And when I worked in a assembly job, acetone's toxic.
Yeah.
Like you don't.
Well, if you're on a keto diet, you're probably not drinking a lot or you shouldn't be, right?
Yeah. And
So
clearly you shouldn't be
maybe
smoking because you're going to go up in
maybe if
flames.
they're doing keto and they're drinking and they're smoking, then they're dead.
Yeah, and don't have a
They
candle
could
on in
just
your house.
combust. Yeah. Don't be sitting by your fireplace.
Maybe don't curl your hair. That could light you on fire. Okay,
So you were telling me you had a recent case.
so I did, and there was one in 1990, but I actually found a more recent one in 2010.
I saw that one too. Tell me.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a lot of details on it, but let me go back because I thought
Okay.
I have some other cases too. Okay.
Okay.
July 2nd, 1951, Mary Reeser, 67 years old. Her remains were found completely burned to ash with one leg remaining. They now hypothesize, after saying that it was combustion, is that she took sleeping pills and she was also a smoker. So they believe she like fell asleep from the sleeping pills and was smoking, and probably that's why her body was completely gone except for one leg.
Okay.
1970.
That would burn down your house,
No,
not
it did
just your
not.
body, right?
It
I
did
know,
not.
but normally if that you think of that, but
I know. I
you
know.
can't just rule it. It would have to be a spontaneous. I mean, maybe not, but
Well,
crazy.
I think that's the whole question.
Yeah.
Which I think that we would need like fire people to explain that to us. But
Yes. Okay.
1970, Margaret Hogan, 89-year-old widow who lived alone in Dublin, Ireland. She was found like the next day by a neighbor. Plastic flowers that were on a table in the middle of the room had been reduced to liquid, and the television had a melted screen which sat 12 feet from her armchair. Otherwise,
Oh,
the
she was
surroundings
hot.
were almost untouched. Her 2 feet and both legs below the knee were undamaged.
Mm.
The only source of ignition in her room was a small coal fire that had been burning in the grate when the neighbor left the house the day before. However, no connection could be made that this coal fire even somehow ignited her.
So crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
And in 1980, Henry Thomas, a 73-year-old man, was found burned to death in his living room in South Wales. His entire body was incinerated, leaving his skull and portions of his legs.
Mm.
And get this, the feet and the legs were still clothed in socks and trouser. Half of his chair was also destroyed, but not the other half.
So weird.
Right? Okay, December 2010, people. This is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Michael Fahadary, I don't know how to say that one.
Yeah.
He oh, you know what? I don't have anything on his story. I just have that he also died in combustion. Did you get more on his story?
I did. So it did say that in postmortem, they found that he had type 2 diabetes, he had hypertension, and he had not died from his heart failure that he had.
Oh.
His body had been extensively burned, and because of the extensive damage to the organs, it was not possible to determine the cause of death. But, like, he had died the same way these other people had died,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
um it says it fits the category of spontaneous combustion, but there was no adequate explanation. And he died in his house 3 days before Christmas, and it still has baffled investigators, is what it says.
Wasn't he also the one that was found face down and he was a pipe smoker?
So his head was like he was laying on his back, I believe,
Yeah.
and his head was towards, like, the fireplace or whatever heat source he had. But it was like this is what I kind of remember hearing, that it was like his torso, basically.
Yes, and that he
And
had a robe
the
on or something.
ceiling above him was black, and
Yes.
the floor below him was black,
Yeah, and
but, like, everything else was fine.
I think they figured out he did have a robe on and they knew he was a big pipe smoker. So there could have been a connection there, but again, no proof there was a connection there.
And this was in Ireland,
Yeah.
so at least it's not in the United States.
It's so weird though.
Okay, Melissa, though, I found this other case, and it's this man who has lived through 2 spontaneous combustions. He's the only known survivor.
What?
Yes, I found him, and then when I researched it, he's now passed away, but I did message his daughter on Facebook. She hasn't responded to me. And then which led me to this other guy. He runs Paris Science International. His name is Larry Arnold, and he's known on like some of the YouTube channels and stuff. He investigates some of this, and I was trying to reach out to him. I went in on through LinkedIn. He did go look at our profile, but there's not much on it, so he didn't respond by following us or anything.
Yeah.
But I tried to message him. Um, Anyway, I would like to get him on because he sounds super interesting. I'll send you a link to his website
Okay.
because it's all the stuff that we talk about. But anyway, he was part of this show. I believe it was on the Science Channel, and it's called oh gosh, what was the? Let me think about it for a second. What the show was actually called, but I watched it this morning. Oh, it's on the Science Channel, Unexplained Files.
Oh.
And so let's see. Mr. Baker, his name is, let me find his Frank Baker. He was sitting with his friend in like their living room. They were going to go fishing or something. So they were it says he was sitting on the sofa on the reenactment on the show. He was sitting in a chair, just talking to his friend, and his side lit up and he was on fire. His friend had to get up and help him put it out. And they went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you were burning from the inside out. He said it really hurt really bad, but for no reason. They were just sitting there, and in the reenactment, which they don't probably put all the details and all of that, but it didn't show that they were smoking. They were just sitting in the house, shooting the crap and talking, and then the whole side of him went up. So Frank Baker was also a U.S. He was in the Vietnam. He had those Purple Hearts.
Yeah.
He had 2 Purple Hearts. So he's like, he's been around. Like none of this makes sense probably to him. There was another time. This is the second time it happened to him. He was in a boat. They were fishing, and his arms caught on fire.
What?
They just caught on fire. So again, that same friend had to help put him out, and on the show, he shows the burn marks on his arms. And now that so much time has passed, then because it happened in 1985, and I believe he passed away in 2014, and it said suddenly. So I couldn't figure out what it was. I was really hoping to like talk to his daughter to kind of get more of the story personally, firsthand from her at least. And but she hasn't even looked at my message yet. But I thought that was interesting that like he didn't even know what was going on. I mean, it didn't tell me if he was an alcoholic or, any of that kind of stuff. It doesn't get into those details, and I can't find anything online, but he is one of the known people that have just like spontaneously been on fire and they had no reason why.
But that sounds like there was no ignition.
Right, he's just sitting there, like, and maybe they were smoking. I have no idea, but it doesn't say that. Like, that's what I mean. They're missing some details, but it was like it says here. I quote: "Everything was great. Pete was sitting next to me. We were having a hell of a time. And the pair leapt to their feet and were able to put out the flames."
Oh my.
And then here's an obituary that says November 10th, 2014. If this is him, and if it's not him, then I messaged the wrong daughter. But it does say that he did go to Vietnam, and so I got some of the same information that I had found from the show, kind of coincide with this article of the, the obituary.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I hope it was her.
Wow.
So I thought that was really interesting and scary.
Okay, so I'm going to be 50 this coming year.
Oh my God.
I know,
old
right,
lady.
Leslie? You're right behind me. So
Wait, am I 48 or 49?
What?
How old are you right now?
Well, I'm 49. You're going to be 49 later this year, right?
Okay. No, I just had a birthday.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're younger than me?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just turned 48?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was born in 72. That would make it 8.
I was born in 71. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I definitely have had some different cooling, like warm periods, hot flashes, whatever you want to call them, happening. Yeah. Well, that brings like a whole new like concern for me because I cannot tell you how many nights I will go to bed and the bottom of my feet feel like they are on fire. Like literally so hot. I can't have them out of the covers. I can't have them under the covers. Like out of the covers is too cold, under the covers is way too hot, and they're just uncomfortable. So
You need to leave them out because that could be your wick.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. And you know what? If the fire starts at your feet, it's going all the way up.
Yeah, but good thing you're laying down.
That's true. That's true. Maybe my skull would be left.
So as soon as you get a hot flash, lay down.
Yeah. I'm going to hop in the shower from now on.
Or that guy, he was laying down.
Or I'm going to go get a cold pack from downstairs. I'm going to put my cold pack on my feet. Yeah. Weird.
I know it is kind of crazy. Getting older just kind of
I don't think
sucks.
that the heat inside of my body can cause that. But why would that man have done that? Thankfully, I'm not an alcoholic. So I
Like
don't have to worry about that.
you'll have to watch that episode. Like they were on a boat in the river and his arms caught on fire.
So weird.
I don't know. That's why I was really hoping that I would get somebody to
Tell you about it
tell me.
firsthand.
Yeah.
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 Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Well, I'm
Super
still
crazy.
confused by that whole thing. That's like very complex and scientific, don't you think? Like why
I'm
the
not that
fire
smart.
so hot?
I'm like, can somebody just tell me in like really simple terms,
Yes.
like what that means? And that's why I wanted to actually talk to that guy because he sounds super interesting and he sounds like he's done a lot of research in a lot of different areas of things that we talk about like
Well, keep bugging him.
supernatural. Like I'll have to figure out another way to get a hold of him.
Just
But
keep bugging him. He'll probably acquiesce if he knows that you're not a crazy person.
yeah.
Which I don't know.
So
We might be.
no, we are, but we've decided we're good crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not like scary crazy. We're just silly crazy.
Yes, exactly. We just want to
So
know.
next week is Suzanne Jacques.
Yay.
Okay. And we have a few signups. We have a couple more spots. We really need you to think about if you want to be on the show, if you want to ask Suzanne Jacques. This is your opportunity for free to talk to a psychic, kind of get some guidance, one or two very specific questions. We want to hear from you. We want you to sign up. There is a link on our front page on our website, which is salonsleuths.com. And then what do you want to talk about after her show, Melissa?
I don't know. Well, actually, I do. I want to talk about those crazy urban myths that are actually true.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I went through a little bit on some of those, the sayings that we have,
Yes.
crocodile tears, white elephant. So I kind of did some research of where they were coming from. So some of them were interesting. Some of them were like way far back that you're like, that's kind of crazy. But I might talk about that a little bit. Again, if somebody has a suggestion, we are totally open for that. We would love to hear from you. We want to talk about what people want to hear. So please, let's have some communication with our people.
For sure.
And let's thank our supporters again. Your friends. What was her name?
Lisa Fu.
Yes. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Melissa or Michelle and her husband.
If you'd like to be on our show and ask Suzanne a question or two about your career, your love life, or family, please contact us on our website at www.salonsleuths.com. We take calls the first Monday of the month. For a full appointment with Suzanne, go to her website. Thank you.
I want to share with you one of my go-to pieces of clothing during this stay-at-home order. I have literally been living 24/7 in shorts or leggings, and of course, my favorite sports bra. I've been wearing this sports bra since it was created, but I wanted to share with our listeners and give you a discount code. I'm so excited. I only wear Handful bras, and that's handful.com, because they are so comfortable and easy to wear. They also flatter, not flatten, if you know what I mean. They come in adorable colors and patterns, so you can wear them with anything. Through the summer, I'm always in a Handful. My new favorite design of theirs is the double down bra.
but I have all the styles and the leggings, and I love their leggings. They're wonderful. So I wanted to share with you, go to handful.com and use the code Salon Sleuths. It's spelled SALONSLEUTHS. You're going to get 25% off any one item on their entire site, including sale items. So I encourage you, check it out. You will literally not be sorry. The adjustable bra, for those of you who may be long torsoed or long or short, whatever, you can adjust it to where you fit. Love them, love them, love them. Get yourself one.